Thank you for joining me today on Mean Street. I hope you enjoyed the show. I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider supporting. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens affect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens affect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens affect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today on Mean Street News. I am Katie. You all know me. I'm really excited to be back. I know you guys have heard that before, but season 3, it's a fresh start. We're going to start new, and we're going to start here in Ohio, where it's the most important. They have all that federal stuff taken care of with the mainstream. But anyways, today we're going to take it to Ohio. We're going to actually take it to my county, Lorain County. I've been, just dipping my toe in the political scene here in Lorain County, just learning and getting to know, people and whatever. So it's been fun. The last time that you guys saw me, and I know if you're on Spotify, Apple, Google, or iHeart, like any of the podcast platforms, you don't know this, but because I didn't upload it, but I did a video previously going over a timeline of Lorain County's radio issue. And it's not, I hate calling it, it's not a radio issue, and you're not gonna hear me refer to it as a radio issue, but that's how people, if you've read the newspaper, the Chronicle Telegram, the Morning Journal, it's the radio controversy. It's really not a radio controversy. It's a broadband telecommunications or a wireless communications controversy. It was never supposed to be, and even with the funding that they put towards it, it's supposed to be a radio issue. It is a wireless communications, broadband communications issue. And I never in my life would think that I would even care. I swear, if it's not one thing, it's I gotta move a little bit. Strengthened. Okay, so it's not what I was saying. It's not a wireless communication. It's a wireless communications issue, not a radio issue. It became a radio issue, but I thank God that was rescinded. So I went over this timeline last time. Wasn't really feeling my energy. I was tired at the time, and I want to have more of a conversation, relaxed to introduce this, because this topic is so big, and you're going to hear somebody in a video clip say this. You can't just cover it in an hour and a half or 2 hours. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring people in that had experiences over the last 2 years with all of these controversial issues, and they're going to tell you their story, but I'm going to just give you information, and I don't want you to make an opinion. I'm going to tell you my opinion, and my opinion is my opinion of my own, since people like to always put me with somebody. I'm not with anybody. I'm not working for anybody. Nobody in the county has paid me a dime. I wouldn't accept it either way. This is solely my investigation, because I got pulled in via the Lorain County Young Republicans, and then they got my personal interest, and that led me to wireless communications, which also led me to this company that we were going to contract with being listed in the if anybody, I don't know, not a lot of people in Ohio really even know about it, is HB6, the first energy scandal. Some politicians went to jail, but they're listed, Cleveland Communications, so I'm going to be talking about, is listed in the Randazzo affidavit. It's also listed in the First Energy bankruptcy as a vendor. And I have a theory, and we're going to go about that later. But it expands beyond Lorain County is my point. It's bigger than what most people think, and I'm not going to get through all of it today. But I'm going to tell you how it started, and I'm going to tell you how it's going a little bit. I'm going to some new information that I literally just received, because anyways, and then I'm going to tell you my theory on why. But at the end of all of this, I want all of you to ask this question. I have one question. Because it's not about radios. They got their radios. They got their radios before any of this started through the municipalities, your cities, your townships. They contracted with this company, Cleveland Communications. Why did they work so hard? This is the question, to push a contract for one vendor over radios. They weren't building the county's infrastructure. They weren't putting anything into the county. Everything that we would be giving this company there's no return on investment, no ROI, no nothing. So why did Commissioner Hung push a Cleveland Communications contract, rally all her troops together for the last 3 years, Facebook attacks, the news? I mean, she has the newspaper on her side. I mean, if you guys are getting your information and you are going to quote me after this podcast with the Chronicle Telegram, Morning Journal, I'll give it to them. I like Heather. She writes good articles. But the Chronicle Telegram and David O'Brien, I will just walk away from you, and we will no longer speak on any issue ever again, because I have learned, and this is my personal knowledge. This is not a theory. This is not a guess. This is this person saying this to me. So it wouldn't be hearsay in court either. I spoke to Aiden Fogel many times on the phone. I've known Aiden Fogel, who has been a key person in this, and you guys will get to know who he is for a long time. And he was telling me that he was feeding David O'Brien, telling David O'Brien what to do on behalf of Commissioner Michelle Hung. And also that Commissioner Hung and Harry Williamson, who you'll get to know, was the former director of 911 here in Lorain County, who was terminated because he was having an inappropriate relationship with the county commissioner, which wasn't really his fault because she was the authority, which she should have probably been for that. Not only that, why is something beeping at me? I had an ADD moment. Hold on. Okay, good. I just want to make sure I'm still plugged in. They were having an affair. He got terminated for that, but also because of his inappropriate dealings personally with her. I think this is a think, and because of this whole CCI radio controversy debacle, and when they found out that they had been lying for, I think it was 7 months at the time since they took office, and she hired him, that they were having an extramarital affair. They both ended up getting divorced. I think he got divorced. I was going to say annulment. That's two. Anyways, but they both ended up getting divorced, still together. I really don't care about that. I really don't care about their relationship. What I do care about their relationship is the fact that she hired him at $75,000 a year to be the director of 911 services for Lorain County. I care that he endorsed her and for her campaign in 2020. He was the AFL-CIO president, which I don't know if, not a lot of people, if you're not like in the, scene, it's a labor union. But if you work in a labor union, you know exactly what it is. It's a labor union. So that's what I care about. That's why I bring up the relationship. I don't care about adults doing what adults do when they do it. I don't care. I also care. It's number two. I lied. There's two things. You were having intercourse, and people, I can't make this up, in county offices. Now, this is a guess. This is my theory. I gotta say this because of legal reasons. It is my theory that you had an office soundproofed, and window low visibility, which you'll hear Commissioner Dave Moore say soon. $30,000 of taxpayers' money was spent on a sex room for you. I feel like that's what I feel like. I feel like, why else would you do it? Are the firemen doing something that all of us don't know, that they need a soundproof and window see-through proof I forget how they say it, like low visibility or whatever. Proof window. It's just it's nuts. My hair is going to be crazy on this live. If you all are joining me live, you podcasters, I love you. But it's nice out and I want to enjoy the day. So let's get started, okay? Why should you care in the first place? Why, as you citizen of Lorain County, why should you care about radios? Why should you care about this controversy? I read in the paper that we don't support our safety forces and they should just give them the money and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to tell you this. You have been fed that narrative. You have been fed that narrative for 3 years by the Chronicle Telegram. And it has been intentful. It is not my experience, personal experience over the last 2 years is not truthful, not even an ounce of the truth. The sheriff's office even did an investigation on this radio issue. And the sheriff of Lorain County said everything's okay, Katie. Why do you care? I read I have it in this, but I have the sheriff's investigation. The sheriff's investigator, and I'm not going to blame the sheriff himself. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Van Zandt. I've seen that name in the report. I think he helped with the investigation. Dennis Wills. I have an email from him. I know Michelle was in contact with him. Michelle And Stamidi, because he's even spoken on behalf of this, have been pushing this pushing the CCI contract, and then when they didn't get their way, started an investigation. When they rescinded it, they started an investigation into the new Board of Commissioners. So don't quote the sheriff's investigation and say, the sheriff said everything's above board. Well, if you were a part of what we're going to unveil, wouldn't you say everything's like, there's no wrongdoing here? She was fine. She didn't, work with a vendor to steer a contract in that vendor's favor and lobby on behalf of that vendor to the city councils and completely, not follow the law in regards to what her position is supposed to be and how she is supposed to be a non-partisan, part of that kind of contract negotiations. I mean, she even came up with the idea. I mean, it was great. This guy's just so great, and I have gotten to know who Michelle Hung is. I'm not gonna call her commissioner because she lost, so that's over. And she shouldn't hold elected office ever again. But she, and I would say this to her face: she's a coward. She's a liar. I mean, a liar. She is manipulative for her own gain. She's narcissistic. I mean, and I know everybody nowadays is like, gaslighting me, narcissistic. No, the woman is narcissistic. I mean, and women, you just know. You know what I mean? And she thinks she's going to get away with this. With wasting millions of Lorain County's tax dollars, making the Republican Party of Lorain County look like, and no offense to any of my friends, okay, don't take offense to this, but they made them look like these like hateful men that are in this little club that are attacking this woman who, just had a bad relationship and, just really cared about the firemen and the police and really wanted them to get these radios that they already got. Just wanted to misappropriate ARPA funds because she didn't know any better. Wanted to hold executive sessions when it wasn't appropriate. Wanted to violate the Open Meetings Act. Wanted to, pretty much say, and this is going to be under explicit on those that are live. Close your ears if you got kid ears and you can't. I am colorful. She didn't know anything. She's clueless as to what she does, and I really think that might be true in a sense. Because she tells I think she's directed a little bit by whoever is satisfying her physical need at that point. Harry Williamson, and he's been an old guard in Lorain County, part of the Democrats, and whatever. He might be the greatest guy in the world. I don't really know him, don't really care. I know what he's done. I don't like him. But he has been directing this. There's no way Michelle Hung was like, oh, there's a CCI contractor that Harry Williamson went down to Huron County and met, and we're going to just, help this guy so much for what? Because it's literally, at the end of the day, it's driving me crazy. I can't answer the question, for what? So, now that I just kind of gave an introduction, didn't even tell you who the players were, but kind of told you a little bit about my before you assumes, I call them. Let's get into this. I'm going to quickly show you. We're going to go back to 2017. They bring up the old commissioner board. Okay, that's what they always do. That's where they always start. 2017, 18, 19. I'm going to tell you this. The second a new board of commissioners was in that seat, it doesn't matter what the old board did. I have it documented. They had she's going to say this in videos and stuff, a locution project. All that is the locution systems, by the way. It's the company. All that is the alarm system for the firemen. They passed, it was like $500,000, $40,000 a year in maintenance for the next so many years. It's not a thing. The next thing, the argument, we're going to bring up our arguments first. I think this is a good way to go. Thinking. So that's 2017, 2018, 19. It doesn't matter what they did in the past, okay? Doesn't matter. Wipe it completely clean. Coming to today, then again, it's kind of in the past. In 2020, in Lorain County, there's 5 cities: Avon Lake, North Ridgeville, Sheffield Lake, and Sheffield Village all came together and said, we want to update our radios for our firemen and some policemen. Most policemen use the Marks radio system. So I'm really talking about fire, a lot of, when I say safety forces, paramedics, 911 firemen, you know. So we're gonna apply for a grant, and this is 2020. We're gonna apply for a grant, and I'm gonna, just so you guys can have some kind of visual for my live listeners. And I'm sorry for my not live listeners. I am going to share my screen. I don't need to share the audio system right now. Okay. Okay, I'm sharing the screen. I'm not sharing the audio system. So we're going to do this. We're going to look right here. Okay. So right here. So Lorain County Sheriff signed an MOU with the Lorain County Commissioners, Consolidated Sheriff Dispatch and Services in 2011, right? It's really, none of this is going to matter. Previous commission did what they did. You guys see this here, right? But at that time, I do want to bring up a player. Mission Critical Partners. They are a consulting firm. In 2018 to 2020, they used Mission Critical Partners. That will be important because later we hire them again with Cleveland Communications. Don't tell me that's a coincidence. And this previous board in 2018, 19, 20 was an all-Democrat board. The only person that won their election was Commissioner Lundy. He was a Democrat. You're going to hear that name a lot. And Commissioner Moore and Commissioner Hung, I hate calling her Commissioner. I always slip up when I say that. They came in and they won November 20, January 2021. They come into office, okay? By July of 2021, it's a shitstorm. But this is how it started. And they're going to bring it up. Doesn't matter. So I said Location Systems Interactive. It's $515,451 to the fire department, the alerting, the annual maintenance, whatever. It doesn't matter. What does matter, though, is before she was even elected, before she got, I don't know if this is before. I can't say that. I'm going to look it up because I have the article, but her AFL-CIO endorsement, she receives, right? Well, she meets Harry Williamson, and she says it's a court deposition. This is deposition that I'm quoting this. September 1st, she meets them. By that Saturday, Friday, she's in bed with them. So apparently her marriage wasn't well at all, or my personal opinion is she's a swinger. But that's my personal opinion, which let your freak flag fly. Don't care. All right, so then they win, okay? Well, while they win, they're not going to get into office at their first organizational meeting until January. So the 5 cities put out a news article talking about how they want to expand, and this is my article binder, how they want to, the 5 Lorain County Fire Departments plan to reapply for radio grant, right? So they apply for this grant. It's going to be so great. Well, the grant fell through. And this is on, I'm going to stop sharing this. Hold on. This is on, and I'm reading this, so as you guys can see this, so I'm not, not quoting something. This is my Chronicles binder. These are all the Chronicle articles, well, not all of them, most of them, important ones, from the last 3 years. And look at how thick that is. This is how many times they wrote about stupid radios. Okay, so they say they applied for this grant. Grant fell through. This was November 16th of 2020, okay? And I'm talking fast and I'm pushing through information just because none of this really matters, okay? It matters in the grand scheme of things, but for the fun stuff, it really doesn't. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, well, it does, but it doesn't. Marks Radio. Okay, so then I thought this was interesting. November 24th of 2020, though. So literally 8 days later, you have Mark's radio proving useful for the fire departments. The Chronicle, Jack Kopinski with the Gazette. For nearly a month, fire departments throughout Medina County have been operating with the Mark's radio system, with fire officials praising the results improvements. Why does this matter? This matters because I believe Medina County contracted with Cleveland Communications, and now they just switched to this Mark system from the Mark's partner. Sorry, I'm reading. State Fire. I'm trying to find the quote. Okay, so this single fire department decided to use it, not the whole county, because the county does have Medina has Cleveland Communications as a vendor, and some of the fire departments, the police departments. But what I have been reading online, and I did read this in an article, is that they've already spent $2 million, $2 million with Cleveland Communications, and they're going to the Mark system soon because it's a mess. And before, I probably should have stated this, our county has Marks and they have CCI. They have both systems. So it's really the cities that are supposed to be dealing with this entire argument, because the county provides the infrastructure. They provide the broadband capability. So they decided to go with Marks. You have a Marks antenna, but they also Michelle allowed CCI to put an antenna up, and I would have never allowed that. Anyways, but so firemen, the same time that they're saying, we want to expand the 5 cities, Medina's fire department, because it's really a fire department push, is saying, oh, this system is great. It's just reference. Okay. So then there's a bill in the state house, and there's an article about it that says, this bill might mandate. That bill wasn't passing. I can tell you that right now. Okay. But what they said in this article is interesting. They said Avon, and this is important because Cleveland Communications uses Avon's FCC license, and there's going to be a question about that. Avon has secured an FCC license for 700 megahertz bandwidth frequency for all cities to use, but it needs to be activated by February 21st, or, they were going to lose their license. Well, if you put in the dates, Avon was going to lose their license by the February 2021, okay? Now, this is when Michelle's in office. Now, if they got that extension, that's August of 2021, and Michelle's pushing the contract for CCI in June of 2021. So I thought that was just a little tidbit right there where I saw that. Anyways, so they start talking about how they're going to expand their system. They found, who they want to expand with. They're trying to get grants. The one grant fell through. Blase, 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 blase. Sorry, I'm trying to get to my... So, in June of 16th of 2021, they all start moving forward with this radio contract. Avon Lake, Sheffield Lake, Sheffield Village, right? And Elyria is already doing this with CCI, by the way. That's why I'm leaving them out. They had already previously... Elyria is a separate entity in all of this. Not really, but really. So, because they were already updating, that fire chief was already doing what he wanted to do. And I'm going to tell you this right now, they're having issues. They're having so many issues. I mean, they're just having... It was not good. I think they're learning their lesson, and thank God, our commissioners did what they did. Okay, so I'm sharing this again. So what I want you to see is they won the election. They start talking about the 5 cities. The cities separately move forward with the 5-city plan. This is supposed to be separate. When Moore and Commissioner Hung came in, they hired Harry Williamson, who Michelle Hung was having an affair with, right? Michelle did not tell, and I want to make this really clear, did not tell anyone. She made it clear in the Chronicle as well. Did not tell anyone of this affair, right? Did not tell anybody. But she was the deciding vote to hire him. What does that mean? Well, when Commissioner hire people, okay, they have to say, or even pass resolutions, agree to their agenda. They have to do the I's. So if you go to school board meeting, you'll say I, nay, you know, that's them giving their vote. And now, if you don't get the majority vote, it doesn't go through, right? So Dave Moore had no idea, and he said, absolutely, you know, hire Harry Williamson. He has experience, he knows he's whatever, right? And then Michelle, without telling her cohort, without abstaining, which is what she should have done. Abstain means not vote, which then Harry wouldn't have been hired. She says yes and hire. So she is the deciding factor on hiring her paramour. And I say paramour means lover. I just don't like saying lover because I think it's gross. Put mental image. She hires her paramour for $75,000 a year. Now, let's look at the law. That is conflict of interest, and that is not even the law. Ethically, and morally, it's wrong. You are hiring, and this guy, and why he's important is 911. Cleveland Communications deals with 911. This whole thing was going through the 911. 911 at the county. So that's why we love our 911 staff, by the way. It has nothing to do with the staff or anything. It's all administrative. Okay, so she hires him. That is the violation of the Open Meetings Act and Robert's rules and your ethics. It's a violation of her ethics. That's ridiculous. But so we hire our boyfriend, right? Well, she also, and it's a pattern of behavior, because she also tries to hire her brother later down the road, which had no experience as well. For what department? 911. That's not a coincidence. So then we do this equipment software. The April comes, right? And we needed some consoles for 911, so it goes out to bid. And this is interesting. I'm going to stop sharing real quick because it's a little bit of a story. So we put it out to bid, okay? It's council, we need councils, whatever. Vestu Communications comes in with a quote of $103,000, okay? 2 days later, Cleveland Communications comes in with a quote, $102,000, $1,000 cheaper. And everybody knows the contracts. You're going to go for the cheapest vendor. You're going to go for the one that, you know, even if it's $500, not always. I go for sometimes more expensive because they're better. But the county's not going to. So Cleveland Communications gets it. Well, before this happened, Dick Miller with the Ohio Department of Administrative Services brought to Commissioner Moore's attention that there were emails that made them question the intentions of Michelle Hung and Harry Williamson, because they were asking technical questions, and it was making them feel that, you know, this bid was not up to par. Also, bids are supposed to be sealed. And I believe I'm almost 90-10 me this. There was an email that Vasu sent over to Harry or Michelle, and then all of a sudden this bid comes in $1,000 less. So that's corrupt as well. You know what I mean? Because you're steering a contract towards one specific vendor. You know that. Because why? Because he's your friend? Now, this is in April. You know, Dick Miller shares his concerns. You know, they're not going to sweat one contract. I mean, I don't think they need to. So, whatever, right? And give me 2 seconds. Share my screen. No. So then we get to May of 2021, okay? That's when the stop office, as you can see on the screen, that's when the stop office happens. But This is the most important fact of this entire thing. Okay? This entire thing is May 8th and 18th of 2021. CCI goes in front of the General Assembly. Okay? And we're going to watch it. We're going to watch what he says. And says that he needs $1 million for this ISSI council to be attached to the Marks system. And he's asking for $1 million in the biennium. Now, he's asking for $1 million, okay, in the biennium when they're finalizing the biennium, which means the 2-year budget bill. If he needed that $1 million, where was he the last 2 years lobbying for it? That's the one thing that doesn't make, that's something that really stuck out to me, doesn't make sense to me. He also mentions during this thing that he's been trying for 10 years to get DAS to allow for this connection. Now, he was asked, does this connection mean that anybody with your antenna equipment would be able to access the Marks system? And the answer is yes. So anybody that, and the state, I have to tell you, the state's not going to allow that. It's a security issue. And no offense, cell phone companies aren't going to allow it either. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. And he knows it's never going to happen because he's coming in May when they're finalizing the budget asking for $1 million. But what's important is during this speech, he says, and I'm going to let you hear it for yourself. And I'm going to, real quick, for my people that are watching live, I need to tell you that I have to make sure that when I play this video, it is actually going to share. I mean, it's actually going to let me use my audio. So I'm going to mute real quick, okay?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Our testimony today varies just slightly from what you were given earlier, but Chairman Dolan, Vice Chair Gabarone, Ranking Member Sykes, and members of the Senate Finance Committee, thank you for allowing us to testify as an interested party on House Bill 110, the state biennial budget. My name is Alan Close. I'm the president of Cleveland Communications, Inc., a family-owned small business located in Parma. I have with me today Tim Sopkovich, the police chief of Brunswick Hills Township in Medina County. Cleveland Communications is an L3 Harris public safety radio system integrator dedicated to providing best-in-class communications equipment and services for first responders throughout northern Ohio. We maintain radio systems for the city of Parma, Ottawa County, Huron County, Medina County, the city of Elyria, and soon Lorain County. We maintain radio systems for the city of Parma, Ottawa County, Huron County, Medina County, the city of Elyria, and soon Lorain County. We maintain radio systems for the city of Parma, Ottawa County, Huron County, Medina County, the city of Elyria, and soon Lorain County.
Huh? What? And then I repeated it 3 times for a reason. It was on purpose. What do you say? So in May of 2021, he's telling the General Assembly that Lorain County is signing on with CCI. That's before a proposal was even sent. And I had the proposal. It was sent in June. That's before a proposal was even sent. This guy is saying, before they even get the proposal, we have the contract. Why? Why is he so sure? I mean, you guys heard him. What did he say? We have it. All right. So my next point for this May that's really, really important for this May topic is there's an argument that all the firemen have come into the commissioner's office over the last 3 years and said that there's connectivity issues with Marks. Marks has connection issues. When I go to use my radio, it doesn't work. It doesn't do this. It's the system. It's the Marks, the standard system, which out of the 88 counties, I believe 70, I want to say 78, but I don't think that's true. 70 something counties have Marks. Marks was developed back in the early 2000s for really, and this is another argument they say is for schools. But, all the firemen have told us in Lorain County the schools are going to burn down because they're going to hit a button, and when I hit that button, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, and that's Mark's fault. No, Mark's was developed for the schools. That was the whole point. Is so the schools would have the capability of hitting those kind of buttons and constantly through those real thick buildings, those real thick walls, be able to connect to all throughout the county. So that's an invalid argument. But I want to show you what Mark Romanchuk he's a House representative out of Richland County. I know that's one of his territories. He just, asks this question, and I kind of was just like,
Occur and for how long?
Senator Rumacek, Senator Dolan. Last major outage that we had was in December. The system completely went.
Radios go out from time to time. How often does that occur and for how long?
Senator Rumacek, Senator Dolan. Last major outage that we had was in December. The system completely went down because of my capability with the L3 hair system. Communicate with Medina County Dispatch for any emergency calls. Since then, other downage has been for maintenance that I'm aware of. Not very long, but back in December we were down for quite some time.
How long? Hours? Days?
It was just a couple hours.
Hours?
Yeah, it was December, right around Christmas time.
Follow up?
Senator Romanchuk.
And then, Chief, is it your testimony today that the L3 Harris system is better than the Marks and you prefer to stay on the L3 Harris?
Senator Rumacek, Senator Dolan. Right now, there are some short downfalls with the Mark system in our areas. I guess no radio system is going to beat that. We do have hills, valleys, but there are some areas that the Mark system does not operate as expected that I would like to see. This ISSI would also give us that ability to communicate with areas that I am out, that I can't go to the Harris system.
Okay, thank you. And one last one.
Go ahead.
Chairman. So who specifically are you working with? Who has this amendment or who is having it drafted?
Senator Romachuk, Senator Dolan, we have spoken with Senator Manning about this subject.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need.
Okay.
this is right before, by the way, they passed if you want anything in that budget, you were talking to the person 2 years before. So this whole thing with CCI asking for the $1 million for this ISSI connectivity, which they promised, by the way, in their contract with the county, since they refer to the proposal in their lawsuit, that's a lie. They knew it was a lie, but this is a show because they said that they were going to get this connectivity with the state. It's not going to. It's never going to happen. It was never going to happen, and he knew that. That's why he's there in May when they're about to finalize the budget, asking for $1 million from the state. Where were you 2 years ago in May? He didn't care. He knew exactly what DAS was going to tell him. He knew exactly that they were never going to allow him on the towers. It was for show to be able to point back to, I did that. So, we're going to go back to our timeline. So, that wasn't a thing. Okay, so go back to our timeline. Tom gets in June the CCI proposal, CCI meeting, June 14th. This one is important, right? And the date itself is important because look what happens right after this, right? So June 14th, they have a meeting. Commissioner Moore walks out of a meeting due to the belief that the meeting is in violation of the Open Meetings Act. Why? Because Hung and Williams wanted a 6.475, which then turned into a 7.7, by the way, which I don't know how it went up. No bid contract for CCI using ORC 307.86, which basically says if it was in this is why they quoted 307.86. This is why CCI is behind this, is because later Michelle in December will say it. Jeff Riddell will say it, Commissioner Riddell will say it when he says, why was this an emergency? Why was this passed with an emergency? Why did you guys all of a sudden bring this up in December when you've had the RFP since October and now you're calling a special meeting to pass this contract for $7.7 million? Well, that ties back to June 2021 meeting. Moore leaves this meeting. He's like, this is in violation of open meetings. You want a $6.4 million contract, no bid, which is fucking typical of them, okay? No bid contract. Now, the quote was Cleveland Communications for items 1 through 15. It was a bunch of they'll provide their equipment to put on the thing, and then they're going to provide so many radios. Then an additional 150 mobile and 150 portable radios for each of the, I believe it was, that's for the county. 1 through 15 had included 100 radios, I believe it was for each city or something. Which that there is now the money that they wanted to use for the I have to say that first. The money they wanted to use for the $6.475 million project was American Rescue Plans Act money, which is ARPA. Now, this is really important. ARPA came in during COVID, okay? And your school, you've probably heard in your schools, your cities, your states, they've all received ARPA dollars because of the loss of learning, loss of income, whatever. The county is only allowed to use ARPA dollars for very, very specific purposes. One of those purposes they are allowed to use ARPA dollars for the county, and I gotta get my notebook so I wrote this down so I don't flop it. Okay. Water, sewer, broadband infrastructure, loss of income. So say your budget was in such a huge deficit because of, which I think the county got, I think they got $8 million or something like that for loss from the year before, just because of COVID, stuff was shut down. And then it says water, sewers, and broadband infrastructure. Well, broadband infrastructure, federal funding, okay? You go to the U.S. code. It's for the definition. What do they mean, broadband infrastructure? Well, for U.S. code 47, U.S. code 1704A, okay? Define broadband infrastructure. Okay, broadband infrastructure, cables, fiber optics, wiring or other permanent, and it says in parentheses, integral to structure, infrastructure, including wireless infrastructure that, now watch, A, capable of providing access to the internet connections in individual locations, and B, an advanced telecommunication capability is defined in section 1302D, defined without regard to any transmission or technology, tech that enables the radio to work. So Broadband infrastructure does not include radios. And what the county, now the county said radio system, the county was not providing before, not now, before in 2021, Michelle Hung was not providing a wireless communications, broadband telecommunications infrastructure system. No. They worded it like it was a radio system. No, he's providing L3, he's an L3 Harris radio vendor. He was providing that. Now, they were just providing the technical operations to make these radios work, which they're not even working today, but make the radios work. That's illegal use of ARPA funds. ARPA is very, very specific, okay? ARPA says, I'm trying to find it, hold on. Commissioners, Salt County Privacy Protection long-term assets. Here we go. It has to be, okay, broadband infrastructure has to be a non-reoccurring expenditure, which is not how they were passing it. They were passing it as a reoccurring expenditure because these three, the sheriff's office, EMA, and the county would be doling out this money for whatever expenses come for these radios, right? It has to be a long-term asset to the county. It has to provide the county benefits for years to come. Us investing, the county investing in this company, Cleveland Communications Inc., does not bring any return of investment for the county itself. So that's an inappropriate use of ARPA dollars. You cannot use ARPA dollars to pay a company to provide radios and then the equipment to make sure those radios work. What does that do for the county? Is it building towers like Marx is? Is it also investing millions of dollars into the county? I think Marx, I'm not going to quote it right now because it's not in front of me. But Marx is investing millions of dollars on top of what we're investing. And I think it's pretty much matching, lowering the rates for the radio. And then you have this other company that just wants to provide radios and antennas so their radios will be able to reach and work through their whatever system. And that's not ARPA. ARPA is investing in the county, a return for years to come. That is clearly not what this was. I mean, very, very clear. You can't buy radios, and you can't give the cities monies to buy radios with ARPA dollars. With that, what Marx is doing is appropriate ARPA spending. What they just passed back in December of 2023. That's the appropriate use. We're going to build towers. We're going to invest in the county. We're going to, I think needs to be investigated by the auditor of state Keith Faber, the misuse and misappropriation of ARPA dollars to benefit a contractor that she was lobbying for. I mean, public corruption has been all over the news in Ohio lately, especially after HB 6. And we have a county commissioner that has tortured, like, for the last 2 years, the new commission, because we didn't give her friend a $7.7 million contract that wasn't going to benefit the county. I mean, at the end of the day. So in June of 2021, when Michelle's like, oh, we want to do this no big contract, well, then her and her lover got into a little bit of a lover's quarrel, right? And they broke up for 2 weeks or a week or a weekend or whatever, around 4th of July. Well, she ended up telling Tom Williams about the affair. Now, I want to be really, really, really clear. This was in June 28th that she told Tom Williams about the affair, right? When she did that, it was right before the 4th of July. Because there was this little time gap that I questioned myself. And I'm like, why is there this freaking time gap? You know what I mean? And it's because it's 4th of July. 4th of July. What county, what government office do you know is like working 4th of July? Nobody, you know what I mean? They took off. It was like a weekend or whatever. But, I'll share my screen. I want you guys to see. All right. before the lovers quarrel, the 5 cities, all 5, after this meeting 2 weeks later, this no bid contract, all these cities move forward and sign contracts, official contracts with CCI. Why did the cities wait a year and a half since they started their 5-city contract to sign with CCI? And was it just a coincidence that in June 14th that this commissioner brought in and her boyfriend up this no bid contract? And when Moore left that meeting, the CCI CEO Alan Close had the audacity to look at Hung, and there's witnesses to this, and say, you now have to form an alliance with the Democrat, by the way, because Hung and more Republicans, Democrat, to get this contract passed. And what the fuck do you think she did? What do you think she did? And it wasn't just because her affair was let loose there because she went crazy for a couple weeks and they had to fucking deal with that situation. No. It's because she needed to get this contract passed for her fucking boyfriend. Her boyfriend wanted nothing to fucking do with her. Now, there's, I believe it's like 302 point something. When you receive something as a public official to back yourself, right? And I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to ORC this and this and this and this. I'm going to bring up some code because it's relevant, but I'm not an attorney and nor do I interpret the law. That's not my fucking job. My job is to say common sense. If you're receiving sex, if you're receiving time and attention, if you're receiving something and then your boyfriend is telling you what to do on the back end, okay? Just ask the question, is that receiving as an elected official? And then there's this, and I'm not going to really get into it, but there's this thing, and they're trying to put it on somebody else about, anyways, I'm going to let it go right now. So go back to Tom. Tom blows the whistle. Tom goes to the county prosecutor's office. There's issues regarding Hung and Williamson with this contract with Cleveland Communications, and we gotta deal with this, right? So 10 days later, an executive session, Commissioner Hung admits in executive session that she had been having an affair this entire time with Harry Williamson. Now, we later find out via court deposition that she was not only having an affair, you know what I mean? She was having sex in county offices. And she admitted this in deposition. Anybody that says like it's a lie, no, it's not. Go read the deposition. I read all 200 pages. It's interesting as hell. So she admits this. Well, August 3rd, Harry Williamson, because of what happened with Michelle, because of what happened with CCI, and there was an investigation. They did their due diligence. He's terminated. Michelle's pissed. Michelle spends hours in executive session trying to save her and didn't want to fire him. And how about this? This is what fucking got me about this whole situation. She abstained from the vote. She abstained from the fucking vote for that. So you abstained to fire him because of your conflict of interest, but you didn't abstain to hire him? Like, make fucking sense, people. It doesn't, because you can't make crazy. You can't make crazy make sense. It's just it's the definition of insanity. So August 5th comes around. Commissioner Lundy announced to the public that the affair between Commissioner Hung and the director of 911 has been going on, and that they just learned of it. Public statement. Okay. So between here, a video gets out of them making out outside of the emergency 911 thing. Everybody says, and I kind of feel a little bad, they always say it's Tom Williams, but the paper I've caught has quoted that it's not Tom, that they didn't receive it from him, that they didn't receive it from this person or that person, and it was somebody else completely different. So I think it would have gotten out a lot sooner if it was somebody that was within her complete circle. I think it was just somebody that saw it and was like, you know what I mean? So then, in the Chronicle, and I have it right here, I'm gonna go up close, right? Here's the text, here's the quote. It says, that following several calls on August 17th for her to resign, She said, "Let me be clear, I'm not resigning, and anyone who's actually participated in this political stunt exposure of their sexual affair will have to consider the consequences." Okay? Consider the consequences. Like, who the fuck are you? Anyways, the very next day, what do you think happens? Administrator Tom Williams, who is close with Commissioner Moore, and Commissioner Hung at one point, they were friends. There's text messages between them that clearly show that, there was some kind of friendship there. And then I think bitch went crazy and I would jump ship too. You know what I mean? Especially after learning the bitch just lied to me for 7 months. August 18th, 2021, Tom comes in and he gets fired. Bullshit. So here are what I found interesting though. All of this, and I gotta do my computer thing. All right, so I put these in here. They're text messages, right? And this is going to be available on my website. The site should be up. I was having a hard time making this into a HTML code. Because I wanted just to be able to put this up as my site. So the site should be live tomorrow morning. And it's a new site. I have 2 links. You can either go to meanstreetoh.com or there's going to be another site that's meanstreetnews.com and then mean-street.com too. We just obtained. Michelle Hung, this is a message. She sends at 2 o'clock, the tension is so thick. And then an hour later, Harry sends back, fucking great. This is from court depositions. Michelle Hung, within 30 seconds, sends done. Terminate. Now this is 2:57, okay? 2:57. She then gets an article. It says Tom Williams, what do you call it? Call me when you at 3:10. Harry says, call me when you can. Already hit by 3:26. 3:20, the Chronicle. So by 3:20, Tom's fired, 2:87. By 3:20, Dave O'Brien from the Chronicle has the fucking speedy fingers, and within 20 minutes posted an entire fucking article about Tom's termination. What was it, just Tom Williams fired? Let's see. What was it? What's the date? August, December, September. I just saw this real quick. This is probably relevant. When I brought up ARPADOT, I said it because that was their main focus for funding. All right, yeah. There you go. By 3 p.m., August 18th, 2021, 3 p.m., this article, and it's quick, but this article by Dave O'Brien is posted, right? Oh, shit. There you go. This article, right? It's by Dave O'Brien. So 3 minutes, he types up 3 paragraphs. Okay, maybe. But who called them? Who told them? Right? Well, then it didn't have a date on the deposition, which I'm going to try to find. But I'm guessing it's the same day. It said, fucking asshole, great statement from you, though, which is Michelle to Harry. And then Michelle fucking O'Brien, which is the editor of the Chronicle Telegram, wouldn't have anything to write about if it weren't for you and I. Fucking asshole. Great statement from you, though. Because they give him what to write. He doesn't just I researched this and get with it. No. He talks to Michelle and Harry. He's like, how do you want this narrative to go? And the Chronicle has for the last 3 years followed that step by step. So then it's a fucking big explosion, right? Big explosion. Moore's pissed. He's like, and he was already in the process of doing this regardless of the fucking termination. But he sends in the auditor, like, hey, something's going on here. You need to look at this. None of this seems right. You know what I mean? So I guess I was saying that fucking thing, the little phrase, you know what I mean? Sends in a letter to the auditor, whatever. By January, he hears back, and Michelle is contacted by the state of Ohio and the auditor of state to not destroy any documents regarding anything with CCI or anything. Commissioner Hung's narrative changes. Right after all this shit happened, she wanted to like get the press to like, you know, give me some good press, give me some good feels. So she does this whole thing with these NGOs. She's a fucking Republican, bringing out 60 NGOs in front of her. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. All right. September 4th through the 6th, she, according to sources that I have spoken to, she starts lobbying North Regional Council members to pass the resolution of three areas vendor communications. Well, Michelle Hung is a previous council member. Previous council member. Conflict of interest? You're lobbying, and she's the fucking commissioner lobbying for Cleveland Communications. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, that is illegal beyond illegal. No, nobody bats an eye. Paper doesn't ask any questions. What? Think Original at the time turns down the ordinance by September 9th, right? At their meeting. Michelle, then it's September 16th. Dave writes about her brother. You know, very light piece, very basic little piece. I mean, it's not even bad, but it's like, oh, she's not. No. She pressured to get him in there. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew he wasn't qualified, and no offense, she treated the HR like shit. I didn't even bring her up in this yet, but like, that's a whole nother story. Like, treat her like shit because she wanted to implement new systems. She wanted to implement new things. She wasn't okay with the fair and all this. I mean, ridiculous. Anyways, Tom Williams filed a lawsuit against the county, and this is where we're gonna end up in a couple months. Where we have a couple things that will probably be done here in the next 10 minutes. No. Yeah, because I'm going to play Dave's thing at the end. Our Tom Williams settlement is pulled, okay? What do I mean by that? Tom filed a lawsuit because Michelle was, you know, hateful, revengeful twat. She wouldn't give him a severance package that he received. And no reason, just didn't want to. Well, they were going to settle. I mean, they were gonna fucking settle. Thank God they didn't, because we got that fucking deposition. But I think his deposition was the bit they didn't. But anyways, so Assistant Prosecutor Dan Petticord sends their attorney like, we're gonna settle for $450,000. Now, $450,000. Tom's severance package was $220,000. Okay, $220,000. It's 200 and. So instead of paying Tom Williams, the ex-administrator, his severance pay of $220,000, we cost the taxpayers of Lorain County an extra $220,000 because you're a petty bitch. Like, what? So she pulls, but regardless, so they accept it, right? No, the next fucking day, I don't even know what happened. Maybe she, I don't know, woke up feeling different. They pulled the fucking, which you really aren't supposed to do. They pulled the acceptance, and Dan Petticord recused himself from the case because he's like, this is a conflict of interest. I represented both parties. You know what I mean? But just now, I changed my mind. I just changed my mind. So October goes through. I'm just kind of going to pass this. It's going to be on my website. You can read all about this. The one thing in October that's important is the CCI getting a tower lease agreement for $1,500. Now, I bring this up because Marks at the same time this is going on is trying to, there's two spots on the tower on Burns Road. CCI quoted back in 2020 that they wanted both spots. They wanted both spots. Both spots were so important on Burns Road. It was in the emails to Michelle, it says Burns Road is critical to our project because it's not gonna work. I don't think it works anyways, but it's not gonna work. So in October 20th, they get one, okay? One spot. Later, December 1st, Dave gives Mark the second spot, okay, and gives it to him because Marks is going to invest millions of dollars of over, if we went with that contract, they were going to invest in the company regardless of the state of Ohio. You should be nice to state of Ohio, whatever. So he gives them the contract. Well, CCI is paying $1,500. Well, Michelle ends up finding out on December 15th, and she's pissed. So what she does is she slips up. She says that when she had a meeting with Marks regarding all these contract stuff, that she wanted to charge Dick Miller, DAS, $5,000 a month to rent a spot on the tower. So she wanted to charge EAS, who ultimately, if we made the better decision, was going to invest in the county. She wanted to charge them $3,500 more than CCI. Why? That's just another question. Anyways, so what I don't want to like bombard you, but like I said, there's decisions we made in executive session that should be made. Her assistant, who then later ends up running against Dave Moore, the whole thing, he's terminated from EMA. Tower site agreement, like I just told you. Now, this is one of the most important meetings. And then in the next episode, I'm gonna talk about the next one. December 8th, and I really please take the next 10 minutes, okay, and watch this video, because it is the most important video there is in the story. And this is just part one. I'm gonna be on here all week long. We're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna try to get Dave in maybe this weekend, or if he's available Friday, maybe I'll try to get him Friday. But I'll talk to him. I want to talk to him about a couple incidents that happened without bringing him up first. On here, I have an article that's going to summarize everything we talked about today. I'll be posting here shortly when I upload it to Spotify. December 8th, Dave just lays it on the line. He's like, all this shit has happened. We're going to start fresh, but I'm going to get on record. And he's smart. It's pretty smart. I'm going to get on record what has happened here. Okay? And that's where we're going to leave it, is the record. And then tomorrow morning, I will be back at 11, same time. You're going to see the times change from 10 to 10:30. It just helps me get viewers, and it messes with Facebook. That's why it goes from 10 to 10:30. 11 is always a good time. I homeschool, so I get their stuff done in the morning. We get their stuff done early, and then they're doing their assignments. So I'm talking to you, lovely people. We're going to be on a few times a week. This week, we're going to be talking about CCI. Next week, we have an interview with my daughter regarding cell phones. You've seen the Governor Houston talk about cell phones. We're going to talk about the State of the State address with Houston. Not Houston, DeWine. We're going to talk about some bills going through, and we are going to talk about what we discussed in the previous 2 seasons regarding my map of people. So anyways, I will see you tomorrow morning for part 2. Like I said, I don't want to blow up your brain so quick, but take the next 10 minutes and please listen and watch what he's saying here, because it's going to be relevant to what's coming. You guys have a great day, and thanks for tuning in and watching me and letting me do my little rant. I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks. Bye. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to get this video up. And I know I had it up here. And it went away. Here we go.
Like a mini year in review for people. I'm going to probably talk about some disturbing things at first, but we're going to close on some positive notes and have this board move forward. Publicly asked for her to resign and made a motion to remove her as president. But I believe there's much more that the most people outside of this county government that they do not know. There's so much more at play here than just an employer-employee sex scandal. This is about county tax dollars being misspent. This is about a breach of public trust. And this is about a commissioner acting as an advocate for a vendor to secure contracts. Her conduct violates Ohio law, specifically Ohio Revised Code 102.03, 2921.42, and 2921.43. So let's confront the undeniable facts. First, by her own admission, when Michelle was deciding vote to hire Harry Williamson as the 911 director for $80,000 a year, she was in an undisclosed sexual adulterous relationship with him. Harry Williamson was employed at Century Tel that was involved in helping wiring the 911 facility in the beginning. And the president of the AFL-CIO, when her and Harry met on the campaign trail in 2020, Michelle has admitted to multiple people that their relationship turned sexual on the 2020 campaign trail and before the November election. However, when she was a deciding vote to hire Harry on January 4th, she remained silent on her disqualifying entanglement. Some may try to excuse or minimize that conflicted vote. But second, against the advice of legal counsel, in the face of many violations of Ohio law, Hung fought for many hours to try and save Williamson from termination to no avail. Even though Williamson was let go for cause, she was a deciding vote to allow Williamson to wrongfully receive unemployment benefits. Now, as these events were unfolding and her motives were becoming clear, I felt a responsibility to the taxpayers to review all of the decisions and dollars spent at 911 this year. For example, we, as a board, voted 3-0 on May 5th, 2021, on item number 794. This vote allowed $30,465 of county funds to be spent from the maintenance account for the following purchase. Burns Road, 911 Annex SBO. You'll see this on our requisitions. It stands for Super Blanket Purchase Order. April through December of 2021 for all labor, material, and equipment to perform interior renovations and alterations to Lorain County 911 Center. On its face, this appears legitimate. But after my investigation, I uncovered that the Burns Road building is only 3 years old. Why would it need interior renovations? As I requested all of the bids on this project, I was trying to confirm if rumors were true about the construction work that was performed there. What I found out was the board was tricked into voting to turn Harry's office into a quiet, soundproof office with zero light penetration. Why does the county director's office need to be soundproof and shielded from any light? Why would what goes on in the director's office need to be soundproof? Some may say $30,000 for an office is not that much. But let me now share with you the larger issues here. To really understand the complexity of this issues, and there's several issues here, I will have to identify a few of the lists of these characters. The three of us, county commissioners, the fire officials and police officials, Lorain County business Vasu, who was a vendor, Cuyahoga County Business and Union Shop, Cleveland Communications, a vendor, the previous director and former AFL-CIO president, Harry Williamson, and Dick Miller, with the Department of Administrative Services for the state of Ohio, a field operations manager. Now, a lot of wheels were in motion prior to 2021. A so-called independent consulting firm was hired, and alliances were formed to ensure what I now believe were predetermined outcomes. I want to be clear. The fire departments and the police departments have their own favorite radio systems. I do not wish to be in the middle of that debate. And my concerns do not arise based on the merits of two radio systems. My concerns are based on what I consider to be inappropriate efforts to swing over $6 million in a no-bid contract to one particular small vendor outside of Lorain County. In fact, to ensure that all the fire and police departments can have the radio systems of their choice, this board recently voted to allow 2 antennas to be installed at 911 Tower on Burns Road. Those antennas now give the local communities the ability to decide on their own which system is best for their coverage. In fact, in the commissioner's last newsletter mailed out to Lorain County households promoting Cleveland Communications, having an antenna put up on their 911 tower, which I personally stated I did not support that. I crossed it out, but it was sent out with taxpayers' dollars about one antenna on one vendor being put up on a tower. But there seems to be more here at play than competing radio systems. Some of these issues I cannot share due to the current litigation between Tom Williams and Commissioners Hung and Lundy concerning his termination. But what I can share is this. The former 911 director was also the AFL-CIO president at the time, who also helped Hung receive her union endorsements. Together, the two of them acted as lobbyists for Cleveland Communications. Together, Cleveland Communications, Hung and Williamson attended city council meetings in support of this out-of-town company. Hung also made phone calls to city council members, lobbying for votes to swing contract dollars to CCI. All of her actions appear to be clear violations of state statute. In short, a county commissioner is not permitted to leverage their influence to help a vendor secure contracts and revenues. In addition to what I consider inappropriate lobbying, both Michelle and Harry used their positions of trust and responsibility in Lorain County to provide a competitive advantage to CCI. They required Dick Miller, the DAS field operations managers for the Marks radio system, a competitor of CCI, to reveal to them in detail all the information and capabilities of Marks that would be extremely valuable to a competitor like CCI when bidding against Marks. In fact, the DAS realized something was not right with Hung and Williamson's requests. They are emails showing DAS inquiring why Harry and Michelle needed this information after it was given. There was no reply. That is likely because there was no appropriate excuse for their request. When I talked to Mr. Miller at DAS, he expressed his concerns about the release of valuable, competitive information to Hung and Williamson. In fact, Mr. Miller expressed concern that Marks in the public bidding process was possibly being compromised. I share Mr. Miller's concerns. Public bidding exists and is structured to protect the integrity of county contracts and public dollars. I take anything that threatens that integrity quite seriously. So on April 28th, 2021, this board approved a contract with CCI for 3-0. At the time, I thought the contract had been properly bid. I have since learned that I was wrong. Former 911 Director Harry Williamson reached out to a Lorain County business, Vasu, and requested a quote for 911. They came in at $103,165.08 on April 5th. On April 7th, 2 days later, CCI came in with a competing bid at $102,118.08. I have now learned this bid process did not follow the county's procurement policy and was not publicly bid with the properly sealed bids. Instead, Vasu was encouraged to put all his cards on the table to Hung and Williamson, the advocates of CCI, and CCI miraculously came in 2 days later with the low bid. I do not believe in this kind of coincidences. I believe CCI was given an unfair advantage over another vendor, a Lorain County vendor. But what I found the events on June 14th even more disturbing. That is what really started that something is not what it should be. At 8:30 a.m. on June 14th, I received an email asking me to attend a build-out and radio project meeting. It was a very detailed email with a lot of data in anticipation that plans would be shown and addressed that day. But when I sat down for the 1:30 meeting, the meeting did not follow the agenda. Instead, it was a pressure play by Michelle and Harry for my support of a no-bid contract in favor of Cleveland Communications for $6.5 million. I was very troubled and asked a lot of questions when neither of them could explain why we were meeting to decide public business in violation of the Sunshine Laws for the benefit of an individual vendor they called Mission Critical, the consultant who was hired and recommended CCI products, who tried to use state statute 307.86 as a way to circumvent public bidding. I told them I am well aware of such statutes and that I was not about to do a $6.5 million no-bid contract. At that point, I left the meeting. According to those who remained behind, once I was gone, the president of CCI told Hung, looks like you're going to have to form an alliance with Lundy. In what universe does this county want a vendor directing a commissioner's actions for its own financial benefit? It was clear that day that something was really wrong there. This is when the soap opera narrative returns. Days after, Hung failed to deliver this $6.5 million no-bid contract to CCI. Williamson had harsh words for her, distressing her and making her upset. Who does she turn to for support but her former campaign manager and the county administrator, Tom Williams? Upset about Harry's inappropriate text, Hung spills her guts to Tom and enlists his support to straighten out Harry. After visiting Hamilton County's 911 in July to review the Harris radio systems, there were some taxpayers on the taxpayers' dime. Hung and Williamson resumed their relationship with full force. over the ensuing week or so, Tom Williams thinks about everything he confided in and goes to the prosecutor's office. We all know what happens next. 20 years ago, when I was here, I exposed the corruption involved in Lorain County Justice Center that led to a commissioner and a few vendors going to jail. As a commissioner, our job is the budget authority for the county and a watchdog over spending for county funds. So hopefully, from here on out, we can eventually put these latest episodes behind us. But when I took office, it's all about economic development and creating a healthy environment for our county. Our state is shrinking, and as you saw today's meeting, our county is growing. Thank you. That's the end of my report, and I shortened it. So.
Mr. Lundy, do you have a report today?
Yes, I do.
Oh no, I cut it off. I didn't mean to cut it off. It's the best. I would have thrown something across the table. Hold on, I gotta find it. Hold on. Where'd it go? No. Anyways, I'll play it next time because it was so good. But what Lundy does is she goes, "You have any report?" He's like, "I just want to say your Christmas decorations are just so beautiful, just so pretty. I'm scared this ball's gonna hit me in the head." I would have fucking screamed. I would have been like, I just said that this chick has just been doing basically what the hell she wants, and you're talking about fucking Christmas lights. I would have lost it. I'll say, Commissioner Moore, you have a little more patience than me, because I would have been like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? So everything that we just discussed, he says, not everything, I added a couple things, but on December 8th, and for the last 2 years, it has been like, anytime he brings it up, he's like, no, what? Nah. But I'm going to give it to him too. He sticks it out a whole nother year, because I would have quit. I would have been like, fuck this job. Fuck this. You know what I mean? Lorain County has not been in Republican control for decades. Decades. And when we got into control in 2021, she jumped ship. She basically told the whole party to fuck off, pretty much. Not only that, she used groups in Lorain County, and she used organizations and people to push this narrative of I'm the victim, when in the entire time she's working with this, she's lobbying for a vendor, using her position for power to pursue a contract for radios for the firemen. It doesn't make sense. There's something more to this. My dad has told me my whole life, ask grass, no grass are free. You're not doing that to benefit, because I care about this. That's bullshit. There's something here that they were offered. There's something here that they were going to be receiving in order for doing this. And that's why I want the AG to investigate. I want the auditor to investigate. I want somebody to be that can get, communications or something. Something needs to be done. Millions of dollars, and it's just going up. It's ticking every day, because there's still. She just filed. CCI just filed a new lawsuit. So did she. So she's just, and every time you see a lawsuit, think taxpayer funds for her bullshit. They've not won one. It's bullshit. So I'm going to leave you on that. I will see you tomorrow morning for part 2. We're just going to continue down a little rabbit hole here with CZI. I'm going to just, give you what I have. And this should be available on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Google, all the podcast platforms you can think of. It's on X, YouTube. Please share. If you Lorain County, I know government stuff's boring, but this is not really boring. This is like a murder mystery to me to find out, and I'm still haven't figured it out. Like, it's the why. And I went in there 2 weeks ago to the commissioners meeting. It was like, I want to know. And I have one question. After all of this investigating I've done, why was CCI more beneficial to Lorain County than the Marks that was going to invest millions of dollars in build infrastructure that we would have for years to come and all of this? Why? She still hasn't answered me. So Dave O'Brien Chronicle bullshit, you know, I think the Chronicle Telegram, Lorain County is called the Chronicle Telegram because they're literally telling a story. Like, and I'm going to Donald Trump them. Fake fucking news. It's fake news. Ask that bitch. Ask Commissioner Hung. And I'm really mad because she's just so manipulative. Ask Commissioner Hung why CCI was the best option possible. What's the technical differences? How was CCI's contract even legal? And still I have questions for the councils, and we're going to get that till tomorrow. What my other questions are is I don't think these contracts are legal, but I'm going to make you wait till tomorrow. You guys have a good rest of your afternoon. Tonight, if you live in Lorain County, Jack Hall is having an event. I don't know if tickets are still available, but come to, I think it's Avon Lake, I think it's the Lake House, and support your Republican candidates. Marty Gallagher for commissioner, he's having an event May 21st. I'll share their links as well. Our federal elections are important, yeah, but our county is where the control is. Our county officials matter more than the presidential election. Our county officials are going to do more for you in your lifetime than Donald Trump, the president, than anybody you vote for Congress. It doesn't matter. Your local matters. Local is where you can change who's in your state and who's in your federal elections. But you guys have a great afternoon, and I'll talk to you later, and tell everybody about Mean Street Ohio, Mean Street News. And my site, like I said, I'll share the link tomorrow. It's the HTML thing I was having problems with, but it should be live. GoDaddy told me tomorrow. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you. Bye. Thank you for joining me today on Mean Street. I hope you enjoyed the show. I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider supporting our work and supporting my effort. You can support directly underneath at the Spotify donations, or you can directly give a donation at paypal.me/Mean Street Ohio. Any donation received will help me continue to provide news to you and everyone else across Ohio and beyond. I love what I do, and I just hope to continue to do it. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining.